guys, and welcome to the first episode of the Desert Borealis Knitting Podcast. My name's Tasha, and I'll try not to touch my mic, but this is another knitting podcast. In this knitting podcast, I will be sharing with you guys all my works in progress, finished objects, different ways to enjoy your knitting, how I'm enjoying my knitting, and upcoming videos that I have. So you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Desert Borealis and on Etsy as Desert Borealis Co. Let's get right into it with finished objects. Now, because this is my first episode, I am going to kind of be backtracking to what I finished in May and June. So let's just get into it. The first thing that I finished, I don't know where it is. There it is. In May, I was able to publish my first pattern for 2025, and it was the Pearl Party socks. These are the socks right there. This is in a yarn by Freckled Whimsy, and the Pearl Party socks just has this really cute pearl zigzag running down the top of the foot, and I loved how this just broke up what could otherwise be just normal stripes. So this is my first pair of Pearl Party zigzag socks, and yeah, you can find them on Ravelry. Then my daughter wanted some Pearl Party socks, so I gave hers with kind of this bluish purple periwinkle heel toe and cuff using the same yarn by Freckled Whimsy. So there they are. And it was so much fun making these socks that I wanted to make a mini pair. So I made this mini pair of Pearl Party socks, and these are going to be for my niece. And these are just 20-gram scraps that I pulled out of my knitting bins. And so I don't have any names for these. Actually, this is the same mini that came with the Freckled Whimsy, so I do know that one. But I have no idea what this blue color is, but if you look at it, it's awesome. It's like light blue with these like purple in it. So I think it, honestly, Pearl Party looks good with self-striping and with tonal variegated yarns. Now, right now, the pattern on Ravelry only has adult sizes, 3 adult sizes, small, medium, and large, but later on in July, I will be releasing on my channel the I will be releasing a tutorial that is all the numbers, everything that you need for the Mini Me Pearl Party socks. So make sure that you're following along so that you don't miss that if you're interested. Let's see, the next design that I published in May was my Gulliver Travels socks. And these ones I was inspired because these right here, they reminded me of when we were little kids. Oh, don't touch that. When we were kids, at least me, that's how I drew my seagulls, were just the little swoopy V's. And so that's why it's kind of a play on words with Gulliver Travels. But yeah, this is another yarn by Freckled Whimsy in her Christmassy club that was going on. Her Christmassy club, and I decided to do an afterthought heel on this one. Those are the Gulliver Travels, and those are also available on Ravelry right now. And then my third design that I released is also a yarn set that I dyed, and I haven't released the yarn set yet, but I have plans in the works too. But this is the Slip Zag sock. And this is a 7-color mini skein set that it's a fade. And honestly, I know sometimes when you do a fade that you're supposed to do like 2 rounds of your new color and then 1 round of your old color and then 3 rounds of your new color. And I don't like fussing with it to fade that way. So I decided just to create a mini skein set that faded pretty dang good so that you can just go from one color to the next. And so there are 7 colors in here, and I just really love it. I love the purple. It's fun. It's playful. The green I did get out of my stash from minis, so I don't know what that is. But if you can see on here, we have this zigzag design that is slip stitches all the way down the foot. And on the other one, I don't know if the camera's going to be able to show this, but on the other one, they're going the opposite way. So this one goes this way, and this one goes that way. So yeah, this pattern is also available on Ravelry. I decided to make my niece a pair of fun, kind of Lisa Frank inspired socks because I'm not too active anymore, but I was participating in Lisa of Knit All the Yarn podcast, her knit along, Knit All the Stripes. And she started with the Felici Lisa colorway. And I didn't want to spend any money because honestly, the colors looked a little dull to me, so I didn't want to waste my money on that. So I used some of the yarn that I had dyed last year for my collection. And then this speckled colorway is actually from Mama Just Knits. It was her Frankly Lisa from last year. And so then I just did the slip zag patterning for my niece in her size. And now I can get these sent off to her. Oh, did I even say that? Oh no, I'll come back to it. Anyways, this is Anime Eggplant, the 7 skein mini set that I was talking about. And I love it so much, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people that will like it. And so this will be available in my Etsy shop at the end of July. So keep an eye out for that. But then also, if you have some bare yarn around your house that you want to dye, I am going to be releasing a tutorial with all the numbers and the exact dye, the dye numbers, the dye recipe, whatever you want to call it, so that if you have your own yarn or you just can't afford it, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how I dye this fade, all the numbers, everything, and releasing that in a tutorial by the end of July. So if you are excited for that, if you want more videos like that of how to dye yarn and exactly my recipes and what I use, then go ahead and give this video a thumbs up so I know what kind of content to start gravitating towards and moving towards. And then I dyed this colorway probably last October because I wanted to create a yarn that looked like a Christmas tree with lights on it, and this is what happened. And I learned a lot from dyeing this way, and so I think I've worked out the kinks so that I will be able to share with you guys how to dye this yarn. So far, this is what it looks like. So it's just this really bright green with all these different speckles in it. I think there's 5 different. There's blue, pink, red, green, and yellow. Blue, pink, red, green, yellow. That's 5. And so I just knit a basic pair of socks to give to my daughter. Later on this year, I will be having a tutorial of how I dyed that yarn, but I have decided to go more on that tutorial. I'm going more with a spruce colored and more vintage colored, so it's not going to be as bright and in your face as this one. I wanted it a little softer and just a throwback to the memories I have of looking at my great grandma's tree and all of her depression glass ornaments that she had on the tree. So this is the rough draft of the yarn, but like I said, I'm excited for the new version that will be coming out later on. Now, in the month of June, I have finished 1 pair of socks and released that pattern as well. And I love these socks. They're so cool. I imagine wearing them with a pair of clear sparkle jelly sandals. But these are the heat wave socks, and these are adult sized, and in the pattern there are sizes, adult sizes, small, medium, and large. But later on in August, I will be releasing a full tutorial to make a mini-me set of the heatwave sock. And both of these yarns are Lovejoy fibers in the color Lemon Nova and Coral Reef, I believe. So yeah, and if you look inside, it's a fold down tab cuff with a little pop of color on the inside. And these were so much fun to make. And whoa, hi, let's not hit ourselves. Have lace detailing in there, which it's just super fun. So I really love these socks, and now that I've shown you, I can wear them. Those are all my finished objects for the past 2 months, and now we can get into works in progress. So in my planning my knitting for June 2025, I talked about how I would like to release 4 or 5 patterns for the month of June, because I have this overall goal of releasing 15 patterns by the end of August, which is when my birthday is. And so I had this goal, and I was trucking through doing it. Got, Pearl Party done. I got Gulliver Travels. I got the Slip Zag. I got Heatwave. I'm on a roll. And then I hit like a major block. I already have all the socks that I want to knit. And then I went to knit them up, and they fell apart. So, have I released any patterns in the month of June? That would be a no. This is one that did not make the cut. I don't like the colors. I am kind of okay with the pattern. It just needs to be reworked. So this one did not get released. It may have a future, but right now I'm just putting it on the back burner. So this was a fail. But it's a learning experience, so we're not going to dwell on that. The next one that I was going to release was I was calling it, Solid Fade. And so the idea was to have stranded color work so that you could take, again, with fading, take solid colors and kind of do like a pixelated fade into the next solid color. At this point in my knitting, I loathe stranded knitting. I just don't like the feel of it. I don't like the look of it, but I was trying and it was falling apart. And so me, myself, and I decided that that was not a place that I wanted to go anymore. So I frogged it, and I just decided to use the same colors and kind of just clear my palette mentally and do the same colors, kind of a fade effect, but just do some helical knitting in it. And I actually really like where this is going. I'm probably not going to release this pattern, but it has been very therapeutic for me to be able to do this. And so all I've done is just done however many rounds of helical knitting I wanted before going into the next color, and then again. And so this is the first sock, and I'm all the way down through the gusset decreases, everything like that. But honestly, these are my happy socks. I really like where they're going. I love the colors. I got the inspiration of these colors off of a music video. It makes me happy. And so I have one more color that I'm going to fade to, and this is Night by Cascade Heritage. And I believe this one is Highlighter Guava, white. This one's actually by Salty Blonde Fibers in Word Vomit. This blue, no idea, but it's Cascade Heritage. And then I'm going to fade to Night. But I think the portion of Night is just going to be a very tiny portion, and that I may start fading back through and end with Word Vomit on the toe, because I don't want white on the foot of my sock because stains and dirt, and I don't want to deal with that. So that is my first work in progress, and in all honesty, I don't know how long this is going to take me because I'm actually really excited to work on some other things, so this just may be put in my bag that I take with me to church. Okay, my next work in progress is my second sock. This was also supposed to be a pattern that was released in June, but didn't get around to it. Mostly because I don't know if you guys ever get this way, but I was to the point that I just wanted to, yarn floaties, I just wanted to get rid of all my knitting stuff because I was super disappointed in everything that had happened with those two socks. And so I actually didn't knit as much the second half of June as I would have wanted to because I was really distraught over that. But these are my 65456 socks. And these are socks that I made for my husband. And all I have to do is weave in the ends. Okay, there's quite a few of them. So it'll be a minute, but that's all I have to do on those and block them. And I only have this sock to weave in. The other sock I've already woven in the ends, so I should just get on this. My third work in progress is another pair of socks that I'm making for my husband. This is a yarn by Freckled Whimsy from her Nature Club. What is it called? Nature's Palette Club. And this is actually down to earth. There we go. And I just bought this because the colors, my husband really enjoys these colors. So I still have ends to weave in on this one. And then, on this one, I am all done with the gusset decreases. So again, just need to do the foot. But this is also going to be put in the queue for my Sunday knitting. Not in a huge hurry to get these done. Just want to relax and kind of move into it. Any other? Yes. Okay. Let's try that again. This is a bag by Lila Styles, and inside it is my northeasterly blanket. And when I got super frustrated with all my socks, I put those away and I pulled this out. Let's just introduce you to the blanket, okay? So this blanket, when all is said and done, like, it's from here, it's forever. It has some good, it's got some good length to it because I need a blanket that will wrap under my feet and over my head when I use it. Otherwise, it's just not comfy. So this is Fingering Held Double, and this first color right here is Haunted Roar by Yarnaceous. And then we move in to Lolo Did It. It's a Great British Bake Off color from her club a few years ago. And then we have Ruby and Roses. No idea what this colorway name is. And then Lolo Did It, another Great British Bake Off. And then Cascade Yarn. Don't know what that is. Another Lolo Did It, Great British Bake Off Club. Ruby and Roses, One of a Kind. Okay, and then the second strip. So this is the last of the Ruby and Roses, One of a Kind. And then we have Lunar Rock, Cascade Heritage. This is Backcountry Knitter. in Watermelon Soiree. Then we have Dream in Color. And then another Dream in Color. These two were minis that I got from my yarn store back in the day when I went to a yarn store. This is Malabrigo. Let's fix it. This is Jean Queen, and this was my first self-striping yarn that I dyed. Then we have Poppy and Spruce Fibers from their coffee collection. Then more Lunar Rock by Cascade. Heritage. Did I say 220 earlier? It's just Heritage. And then these colors I decided to marl, and these are all of, from here, are all the minis that I dyed up last year for my colorway collection that I released last year. And what I'm doing is I just have in the bag, I just have all of the minis wound up into 10-gram balls. So I split the 20-gram minis into two 10-gram balls, and they're just in there, and I'm just randomly pulling out two. So these are the first two that I have. And then if we go all the way down, these are the next ones. And it's kind of funny because this kind of seems like it's my green, neon green strip, because we have these ones and then this one, and then we move into this one, and then those two. This one right here reminds me of like the boxed macaroni and cheese from my childhood. And then these two, and that's where I'm at. So I still have white a bit before I'm done with my third strip. But this was a great palette cleanser for me to pull out again and start working on. And I know there's a couple of spots, like right here. It drives my daughter crazy, which is kind of great because I think it's funny to watch her go crazy over it. But I do have a couple of mistakes in here, but I don't care. I like them. And like I said, it kind of is fun to watch my daughter kind of freak out and be like, "Mom, why didn't you frog it? I would have frogged it." Oh no, snap. Hang on, gummy bear down. Okay, fix the gummy bear, we're good. Okay, so those are all my works in progress, all my finished objects, and now I'm going to tell you what makes this podcast so different from every other podcast that's out there. And you know what? It's okay. I am not buying any yarn. Zero yarn. Yeah, later on I'm going to have a video that I'm going to show you my entire stash, everything that I have in it, kind of go over loosely my plans that I have with it, which changes all the time, but take you through it, my thought process. I did, if you guys have been around YouTube and came to my very small corner, last year I did actually have a channel by the same name, Desert Borealis, where I had a podcast with my daughter and I took you through my stash and everything like that. I decided to walk away from all of that for a while, so I deleted all my videos and deleted all the podcasts and deleted the video of my stash, so it's no longer there. But then April, I decided to start it up again. And really, what I want with this podcast is to use up a lot of my stash, but also with my channel, is empowering people to do their own thing, I guess, in a way. I want to there's not a lot of information out there about how to dye your own yarn and how to get started that way. And so I think it would be really fun to have some dye tutorials. And I'm really not afraid of people stealing my idea or stealing my thunder or anything like that, because when it comes down to it, for me, I just want to help people learn how to be like self-sufficient. If you look at this and you want to do this, you will find a way to do this, even if this is not in my shop. So yeah, I just want to share how to dye yarn, how to knit. I have lots of tutorials. Okay, maybe not like a lot, but it's a work in progress. So I want to be able to share that. Also share about what I'm knitting and all of that good stuff. That's all I have for you today, but if you like this video, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any of my dye tutorials or knitting tutorials or, you know, the mini pearl party tutorial socks that I have coming up, then make sure that you click the subscribe button and you won't miss anything. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you real soon. Bye!